Be talking very loudly. I'm not using the mic this time. Last time I was just trying to figure it all out, but we're just going to go with it. Okay, so the topic again is, you know, life after being a caregiver. Like I stated, and I have to stop all these and I need to just get a little bit more comfortable because everybody know I can talk. I've there you go. I've been doing workshops, seminars, presentations. So this I don't know where it's coming from, but okay, we're gonna work past it. But if anyone wants to come in, just let me know. I don't know. Oh, wait a minute. I think I can live comments show up on. Okay, I don't know. But anyway, we're just going to go forward. Okay, I hope you can hear me. I hope the volume is great. Now let's start with some of the steps that I've been taking. Like I told you, once my mother transitioned, of course, having to deal with the grief, which is ongoing. Still at times, even if I go to the grocery store, I see mandarin oranges, which was her favorite orange. I get misty sometimes. And I just heard Vice President Biden say sometimes when he thinks of his son Bo, that a tear comes to his eye before a smile comes on his lips. And that are those type of moments that you have. When you think of them, you want to smile, but sometimes that tear comes first. And it'll be days like that. And I'm realizing that it's okay. It is actually okay to have days like that. I'm still trying to move forward. Definitely each day it gets better as far as me coming back to me. It's like I'm trying to get myself back together, you know, get on the right road, stay on it consistently. And sometimes I just procrastinate or I'm just not consistent, and that's okay too because it's a process. You will never fully feel whole again because that part of your heart is not it's no longer physically with you. Spiritually, yes. And people say, oh, they're still with you, but that void, there's still a void, no matter what, and that will be. But you just learn to live with the void. And I'm sure with time, it may become a little more easier to live with the void, but just know there will be that void. Another thing is, I actually decided to go back through my own book, Rising Above My Fears on My Wings of Faith. I now believe I can fly. That has been like the crust of my existence, even coming forth uh, out of ministry, all those type of things. And I said, what I need to do is go back to my book and go through the actual chapters and do the work. It helped me at the time that I needed to push forward through some things. And so now again, I'm here having to push forward through some things. And so it's the book also that is helping me go through some steps. It goes through the introduction, the beginning, emerging, being equipped, and then actually moving forward. Now, knowing you can fly, you can get to that destination, you can come back to a place where you can live again. Because it is about life after being a caregiver. Now you must be your caregiver. You must take your strength back. You must now focus on you. It is time for you now to do life. Yes, there was a major pause in my life, a long pause, but that was okay because it still was rewarding And it was what I was called to do at that time because my mom took care of me well as many others. And I thank God that I was able to, that He gave me the strength to do it because it is a lot on you emotionally. It can be a lot on you emotionally, physically, spiritually, all of those things. Because as their health goes up and down, declines, then you're praying, and then sometimes you're like, you don't feel like your prayers being answered because they may not be getting better. But then again, you have to just release and let go and let God. I mean, that's what I come to realize. You have to release, let go, and let God. And that's even the stage that I am in now. I'm just releasing, letting go, and let God. And just really trying to get back into the place of having that connection with God because you're going to need that. You're going to need that higher power. You're going to need the strength of the Lord to help you because it gets hard a lot of times to push forward. It gets very, very hard. But you have to push forward. And sometimes all you can do is just stand and realize that God is the I am, and the I am is within the you. So you do have that inner strength to push forward and do what you need to do to really have that life after being a caregiver. Another thing that I am trying to do and be consistent is to meditate so that I can really connect. I have to get in because when I was a caregiver, sometimes, like I said, I slept very lightly. So sometimes I really didn't get enough sleep. And sometimes, with that not being my focus, in the morning, it was just like get up and do what you need to do. Check on your mom, get your stuff ready for work, make sure she has everything she needs, give her the telephone. I mean, it was like, this routine. And sometimes you just get caught up in the routine till you're not really connecting like you should or slowing down to really connect spiritually. So now I realize I can make the time. And that's what it's about, making the time and being consistent. I have the ability to do that now. I can set my own routine now. My routine that is about me. And that is another thing that's hard to really get in your psyche that you can do this now. You can set up a whole new routine. And yes, they call it a new normal. Just like with this COVID, it's a serious new normal for everybody. And I'm talking about a new normal. And you come up, this new normal, I found that out before COVID because I had to realize now I have a new normal. My normal was taking care of my mother. In the morning, getting up, making sure that she's okay before I leave for work. Sometimes when an aide called out, then I may be late for work or I may have to stay home. Or if an aide replacement comes, then, I have to check her out. And sometimes they weren't the best replacement and I have to send them home and then I'm there. And so then my shift is whole 24 hours. And so going through that each day, not really knowing, if your regular aides are going to be there. So you're in that stage of, okay, I have to be flexible. And nothing is really set in stone. So you just have to truly be flexible. And with that in the back of your mind, you're just always knowing you're on standby. And so my whole routine was, surrounded and wrapped around whatever my mother needed, what her needs were, and she took precedence in my life, and that's how it was. And so after her passing, and now it's like you have to give yourself permission now to do things for you, and that it is okay. You do have a new normal. It's a new normal. And I would say she passed away last year in May. So I'm going to say, um, well, it was first for me. My first birthday without her. Um, her birthday, my father's birthday without her. Her birthday without her. My first Thanksgiving without her. My first Christmas without her. So I had to still get through all those things, and those things were weighing on me till I still couldn't step into a new normal that says now you can live, Cecilia. And in so many ways, I believe, towards the end, my mother was thinking, my daughter has done well by me, and now she needs to live. And I remember she was saying the night before she transitioned that she was in a a new world. She was just like, wow, I'm in a new world. And I ran in there and I was like, because I can hear in the monitor. Like I said, I had baby monitors. And I was like, what are you talking about? Where are you? Where are you? And she just said, oh, nothing. But that morning, the next morning, I had a hair appointment, and before I left, she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be okay," but she didn't really want. First, she said she wanted to eat, then she really didn't want to eat. And I do remember her saying, "You're going to be okay." And I'm thinking, was she saying that to her or to me? But then she just was like, "You're going to be okay." And so when they're ready to go, they're ready to go. No matter how much you want them to hold on, it's a thing about you still being there. Or them being there physically. But the thing is, when they're ready to go and they're tired, and that's what she had been saying for 2 weeks, that she was tired. She was tired. I mean, we have one week we were in the hospital for 3 days inpatient. Then she was home for a couple of days. Then we had to go back again. And yes, I stayed in the hospital with her. I mean, I stayed the night, all 3 nights, each time she was inpatient. Anytime she was inpatient, I stayed there, because I just wanted to make sure that they took care of her. So even in hospital, I was the caregiver. So this really, I had to really understand that this was going to be a totally new normal for me. Now it's like you do sit back and say, well, really, what do I do now? Where do I go? I mean, do I just come home? Do I sit? You have to figure it out. And it can be very difficult because, like I said, for maybe 6 or 7 years, this is what my normal was. My schedule was set, and that's how it was. I wasn't really able to do anything outside of really caring for my mom. And now it's like, okay, now I need to care for me. And sometimes I was feeling guilty, like, but I'm like, why? And I had to search why, and it's like, well, I don't want to feel like I'm released from caring for my mom, but I really am. And you are. You are released. You are released to live now. You are released to really pursue those things that you know for such a time as this that you are supposed to pursue. You're released to become what God has purposed you to become at this point. And it's time to just go for it. Time waits for no one. Tomorrow is not promised. So we do need to move forward in the next phase, the next stage, the next chapter, whatever that is what we need to move forward in. So don't hesitate in moving forward and living life after being a caregiver. It is okay. And a lot of days I have to say to myself, it is okay, Cecilia. It's okay. You can go to the store and just stroll around. I mean, you can't do that much then. But I'm saying, around January before this COVID hit, and even I would say around January because Christmas was hard and really New Year's was hard as well. But a little bit after that, it was like, okay, you can go stay out a little late after work. You don't have to go straight home after work. You could take your time. I would browse around Union Station. I didn't have the liberty to do that because I was on task. I was on duty, and I wanted to do the best for my mom. So that was my total focus. And now I am coming to realize now my focus can switch to me. And it's not being selfish, it's being realistic of what stage I am in in my life, and I need to accept that and realize that I have turned the page, I have turned the chapter, and now I can live. I can actually live my life. And it's okay. It's okay to now live my life. I have done what I was supposed to do during that time. And I was living, but I was living to do what was right by my mom so that she could be as comfortable. You know, that was my ace cool boom. you know, we were everybody know, especially people that were involved with Women of Virtue. Every event, my mom was there. So when you have to deal with the grief, and after being a caregiver for all those years, I mean, it's like not just your heart is ripped out, but a major part of your life is just like it's phased out. You're like zapped in the zombie now because now it's like really my life is just gone. I felt my life was gone when my mom was gone. But again, I realized that no, now I can have life again after being a caregiver. And that's what my mom would want. And, you know, you get emotional. I know I'm getting emotional. And at times I know that she is with me and she is the one that's pushing me forward and saying, get back to helping those people that you've been called to help, Cecilia. Reach out. That's one thing that I love to do is to be an advocate for others. I had to do a lot of advocacy for my mom, for her care, for assistance, for a lot of things. I learned a lot of things, especially about the elderly and certain things that affect them. And one moment, I'm gonna have to come back.